Okay, now we're going to be doing the mechanics for the arrival zone, and we are almost done here, so this is pretty much the last thing we need to do. Um, and basically, the setup I've already got built here is pretty much identical to what we already had on the other side, what we just built on the other side. So we've just got the double booster right here, the track section that runs parallel to the existing track we already had, and the discontinuous cart return right there. So pretty much the same as far as that goes. Really, the big difference is going to be with the wiring and the buttons. So let's take a look at that. So for this section, we're actually going to have two buttons, a wooden one and a stone one. And we need to take a second to talk a little bit about what the difference between the two is. A wooden button will activate pretty much under any circumstances where something is on top of it. So that could be a cobblestone, like that. Could be a player, could be a pig, or a minecart. A stone button, on the other hand, only activates when a player is on top of it. So you can see the cobblestone is not activating it, but as soon as I step on it, it activates. Now, just as a quick aside, pigs and cows and even chickens will also activate that. I'm not sure about zombies and creepers and stuff, but just something to keep in mind. It shouldn't really affect us as far as this goes. But now that we've got these two buttons activated, kind of the theory on the, or now that we have these two buttons set, the theory behind how this works is when a car rolls into the station, it'll kind of split the difference between the two buttons. So you can see right now it's sitting on top of both the wooden and the stone pressure plate. When we arrive naturally, it won't get all turned around like that. But so what happens there is when we come into the station and we're riding in the cart, since it's splitting both buttons, the weight of the minecart will be pushing down the wooden button, and then the player inside the minecart will be pushing down the stone button. But then as soon as we hop out, we will still have the wooden button pressed from the weight of the minecart, and the stone one will no longer be pressed since the player is no longer in there. And we can combine that property of the plates with a Minecraft logic gate. So here's the handy diagrams on the Minecraft wiki, and it kind of covers all the basic logic gates in Minecraft. And the one that we are going to talk about is the XNOR, and kind of by association the XOR gate right here. But we'll more specifically be building this one right here. And so what happens with the XNOR is it will activate based on two inputs. So we have the two inputs right here, the wooden and the stone pressure plates, and the XNOR will activate when the inputs are not equal to each other. So if the stone one is pressed and the wooden one is not pressed, or vice versa, it will activate. Importantly though, when neither of them are pressed, the inputs are equal to each other. They're both inactive. So the XNOR will not activate under that circumstance. And when both of them are pressed from the minecart with the player in it, it will also not activate since they're both equal to each other at that point. But it'll make a little more sense when we get things kind of wired up here, I think. So let's get to it. So kind of one of the first things we need to think about is if we run the redstone wire out of the same side here, so we got both the redstone wires coming out like this, you can see they'll join up to each other. And that's not what we want, because then either plate will activate both inputs. So what we have to do is run them out of either side, and I have already dug a tunnel to do just that. But basically, we'll have the wooden one coming out one side and the stone coming out the other. So we're going to jump down into our pit here. And so this is the block that's directly below the stone pressure plate. So I'm going to run some wire out like that. And then down this little tunnel is the wooden pressure plate. So then I can come out sort of the back of it like this. So then once we run those two wires, we can get started with the kind of the meat of the wiring here. and that's the XNOR. So looking at that diagram, the diagrams are very well designed. We're going to be building it pretty much exactly. So it does take a little bit of room, which is kind of why my cave is so big down here. But if you follow that diagram pretty much exactly, it will work just about every time. So I won't explain a ton about exactly specifically what I'm doing here, partly because I think it would be pretty confusing if I tried to, and secondly, I'm not, exactly a redstone expert here. Don't expect to see any 16-bit ALUs coming from me anytime soon. So I'm not sure I'm really qualified to explain it regardless. But suffice to say, if you build it almost exactly like you see on the wiki page, you shouldn't have any problem. But regardless, if nothing else, you'll at least see one in-game, just like this. And so that'll hopefully kind of help you out a little bit. But from there, this is basically the completed XNOR. All we need to do is run it over here to where our redstone needs to go. And once again, since I dug this out already, this is below the curved track section right here. But we'll just run the wire. Just like that. And then we'll place a torch there. And the torch is lit, so, or torch is out right now, so the track piece is in its inactive state right now. So you can see both our inputs are not lit up because nothing's pressing the buttons. So the final result here is that the track piece is not activated. So now that that wiring is all done, let's kind of refill our cobblestone here. And so you can see if I press one of the buttons, so I'll sneak over here, then our cart gets sent out. And you can actually even watch the redstone here. But let's test it out real quick with a live demonstration here. So here we go. And when we arrive here, we're splitting the difference between the two plates. So you can see the torch is not lit over there, and our track piece is not activated because both the inputs are equal to each other. But as soon as I hop out, the minecart comes and returns our riding cart to the Pez dispenser. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much a working station. Now, one final note I'll make is you may notice we no longer have a booster right here. And I removed that because since we're using a double booster for our cart return, it's actually powerful enough that we no longer need the booster section right here. So I just removed that during one of the edits. But just to kind of recap completely, here we've got the Pez dispenser right here with its various components. And remember, we need a booster for that as well. We have the double booster for the outgoing carts and the stone button right here. And then finally we have the two pressure plates and the booster for the cart return to the Pez dispenser and the XNOR, which I will take one more shot of right here. But that's pretty much it. I know this was a fairly long video, but I tried to make it as quick as I could. So hopefully everyone has a clear idea of how to build a station now. And if you have any problems, just send me a message either on YouTube where the video is posted or on Reddit, which I will post a link in the Minecraft section of Reddit. So thanks for watching.